Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm reviewing a rather interesting offering from Jinhao. It is the Jinhao Tiandao 1935 and it came in this super luxurious plastic sleeve with the label there, which yeah, it's all I need. I bought this on AliExpress. When I saw this pen pop up in my new items I might be interested in email, I kind of thought, that pen says something, and I thought I'll get it, I'll have a look at it, and I'll do a quick review of it. So here we are today. So as I said, this is the Jinhao Tiandao 1935. It is full of symbolism. There's so much going on with this pen. It is not going to be for everyone for a multitude of reasons, but some people out there are going to love it, and I got it mainly because there are some features here I would love to see in a future pen model. I would love to see this basic sort of design, this nib, this section, this converter in a more sort of, sort of classic color combination or something. Like this pen in that sort of Italianate black with the orange barrel, or an all black version with silver trim or something like that would be really, really nice. But this particular one has been made with particular symbolism and colors for a reason. And so I'm going to cover the parts and features today. I'm going to do a writing sample, talk about some pros and cons, all that kind of stuff. But let's quickly cover the political, nationalistic, if you will, elements of this pen. Now, I'm not going to go into any of the politics in terms of, right or wrong or whatever, or my political leanings or anything like that. I'm just going to cover the basics of why there are certain things on this pen. Okay, so it is red, as you can see, with a gold trim. So the red and the gold are nationalistic colors of China. Jinhao is a Chinese pen brand. So they are showing some nationalistic pride in this pen. On the top of the pen is this gold star. Once again, a nationalistic symbol there. The guitar feature here, and it's not the best looking guitar clip, but stylized clips like this aren't the easiest thing to do. Even the Mont Blanc clips that use things like musical instruments and things are, artists' interpretations of them, and that is what this is. Guitars have more strings than this. Guitars have 6 strings, this has 4. But, if you were making 6 strings at this scale, it would look just a little bit ridiculous, or you wouldn't even really be able to tell. And the body is out of scale, but once again, it is a pen clip. It's designed to represent a guitar. So there's that. There's also, as you can see here on the number 8 size nib, there is a double-edged sword, engraved in it, all there. And then of course we get the name. The Jinhao is on the center band here, Jinhao Tiandao 1935. So the composer who wrote the Chinese national anthem died in 1935, and Tiandao basically means way of heaven. So he went the way of heaven in 1935. I think that's my interpretation of it. So yeah, lots of nationalistic elements and symbolism in this pen, and that's that. Let's now talk about the actual pen. So underneath this acrylic top, you get that gold star, then get a gold band and this gold colored clip, which has a little ball on the back of the guitar there. It's relatively stiff, functional enough. The cap is mostly cylinder, mostly straight, and comes up to this sort of center band here that says, as I said, Jinhao Tiandao 1935. Little sort of step down onto the barrel. The barrel continues along, and it's clear acrylic. Got a gold band, and then this red end here. Now it does look like a piston knob. It's not a piston filling pen, it is a cartridge converter. You unscrew the cap in about 1.5 turns, and you've got some threads there, a little O-ring underneath the barrel there to sort of secure that down. This short and chunky section here, which is about 1.5 centimeters long, and then it'll flare out. The flare out is very similar to that on the X159 and the 9016. It's probably more closely related to the 9016 than the 9019. And then you've got the number 8 size nib and the plastic feed there. This is a medium. It comes in medium and fine as far as I can tell, and it's got that sword logo in it there. As I said, it is a cartridge converter pen, and it is that Jinhao standard, if you will, for cartridges, or this sort of large screw in, and it is screwed in converter here. And it is a large capacity converter, closely related to that in the 9016. I'll just pull up, for the sake of the exercise, the 9019 here. So this is my 9019 I have with me at the moment, the Lake Blue version. If I unscrew the barrel there, you can see that they both have these large converters. The 9019 converter has this sort of metal end on it. This is the more sort of economical plastic version, but it is the same converter and they are interchangeable there. Just for the sake of the exercise, if we look at the sections, you see that the section on the 9019 is considerably larger here than the 1935. I find the 1935 section to be incredibly comfortable. In fact, I find the pen incredibly comfortable to write with, more so than the 9019 actually. And that is the basics of the Jinhao Tiandao 1935 fountain pen. There's a lot going on. It's not going to be for everyone. The main reason I got this pen was to see the ergonomics of the actual pen. So let's do a quick size comparison with the Lamy Safari now, just so you get an idea. In fact, why don't I pull up that 9019 as well, just for the sake of the exercise. So you can see it is a good size pen. It is as long as the 9019, just not quite as wide, and it is much bigger than the Lamy Safari. The pens aren't wanting to behave on this table surface, but you can see it's probably about the same size as the Lamy Safari uncapped, and probably just a touch shorter there than the 9019. The Tiandao 1935 does post quite well, relatively deeply and securely, but does make a long pen. You can see it's longer than the Lamy Safari and longer than the 9019, and the 9019 doesn't post super securely. It's not my favorite pen posted, but I would probably actually use the 1935 unposted, just as a slightly more comfortable length. So what are the specific dimensions of the Jinhao Tiandao 1935? It's 144 millimeters when it is capped. It's 128 when it is uncapped, and 173 when it's posted. So it does make a long pen and a little bit back weighted. A lot of this pen cap's weight is right at the back there, so you definitely do feel that moving backwards in your hand. So I would write with this, and I have been writing with this unposted. The section goes from about around 12.5 millimeters to about 17 millimeters around the cap, so it's definitely not a small pen, and the pen weighs 32 grams in all, 16 in the body, 16 in the cap, so you are putting half the pen's body weight on the back there. But uncapped, or unposted, sorry, it is a very comfortable pen in the hand. It's a good size, it's a nice weight, and with that number 8 size nib, it makes for a very comfortable writing experience. So I've got Rhodia 80 GSM paper here. Let's do a writing sample with the Jinhao Tiandao 1935. I had this with a medium steel number 8 nib, and the ink in this is Monteverde Blue Black. Okay, now, so far this pen is behaving relatively well. I have found a few times this pen does things like hard starts or railroading. It's a unique nib, it's got an interesting feel. It's quite smooth, but it is slightly springy, and that sometimes leads to a little bit of railroading. And funny I should say that, because it happened right here as well as here. So when it's writing nice and wet, and it's good. I enjoy it. I enjoy the feel of this pen on the page, and with a little bit of tuning, maybe with a little bit of sort of, little bit of work, this pen is going to write quite well because it is smooth, it is wet. Quick writing. That sort of kept up reasonably well, but as you can see, it sort of when I do these sort of quick strokes, it doesn't enjoy that at all. So I'm going to do some work on this pen. I don't know if this is a pen I'm going to keep using. There's a, it's just not my flavor, but I do really like the design and the feel of this in the hand. Reverse writing, very scratchy, and as I said, it's slightly soft, so you can sort of open up the tines ever so slightly for some line variation if you wanted to. But in terms of sort of everyday writing, yes, it will need a tiny bit of tuning, but it is smooth, and it may just be a baby's bottom issue. I just don't have a loop with me to sort of look at that nib in closer detail, but it's doing an okay job for the most part. Okay, let's talk some pros and cons now. Firstly, that guitar is not the best interpretation of a guitar, but the clip, yes, they are hard to do in a stylized kind of way and still be functional. So I can kind of get around that. There's a lot of political symbolism on this pen, which personally is not my flavor. It's not what I go for. But as I said, I got this pen because I wanted to check the ergonomics of the model, not for the design, if that makes sense. So that is absolutely not going to be for everyone. And for some people, it is going to be exactly what they want. And it's not subtle. It's not a subtle pen. It's sort of clunky. It's it's not perfect, but there is lots I do like about this design. But one thing I will say is that the nib is not 100% consistent, and I found that with those Jinhao number 8 size nibs. Sometimes they just require a little bit of work to make them work properly. But there's things I like. I like the fact that it comes with that extra large converter. I think it was a bit of a missed opportunity, and another reviewer commented on this as well, that they could have made this a blind cap to access the converter. It stops it, having this extra part stops it from being an eyedropper, all that kind of stuff. But the converter is great, and the capacity of around 1 milliliter is awesome. One thing I will say is that they have taken out that rattle, which is something that I really don't like in the 9019, the rattle of the converter on the inside. They've put in some engineering to make that fit more snug. I enjoy that a lot. I like the fact that it's got the number 8 size nib. Now, number 6 is my nib size preference in terms of the writing distance from the page, but the number 8 size nib is nice, and when they're good, they're really good. I like the price point. This I got for $19.70, including postage to Australia. So it's not the cheapest Jinhao pen. It's far from the most expensive. And for a plastic pen made in China with a converter, oversized converter be it, and a number 8 size nib, I think the price point is pretty good. It's got decent build quality, all of that kind of stuff. It's a big pen, but it's comfortable. And this is what I am interested in, as I think I've said before, is that this pen design, this with some alterations, but this, in all black or black with silver trim, or, more sort of standard sort of colors, would be a really lovely pen in the hand. It's beautiful to write with in terms of the ergonomics. So I'm a big fan of that. I just think that obviously this pen was aimed at a particular market, and with all the symbolism and all of that kind of stuff, and the symbolism in the name, it's not going to be for everyone. But the basics of the design, let's hope they carry those over into another pen model, because it would be beautiful, flat top, good size, nice converter, all that. I'm all for that. So let's hope and see what they bring out in the future. So this was the Jinhao Tiandao 1935. I hope you found this video interesting and useful. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button. It all helps the algorithm and helps me continue to make videos for you. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you would like to support the channel, I would really love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, and I'll talk to you soon.